Welcome everybody. Welcome to Farm Stories page today. This is mid-November and slowly our winter is approaching. And as we know that in winter there will be a certain amount of dryness. And this dryness because of the drop in humidity in weather. And we know that in winter there will be dryness in skin. There will be chopped or cracked lips also. Many a time that is quite embarrassing, quite disturbing. So today I'll be sharing with you all a story about a moisturizer. So to tell you the story, I want to go back to 18th century when in Europe there was industrialization. Industrialization started post 1750 or like that time, and at that time there was many machines were invented, many industries were established, and as because many industries are established, there was dire need of fuel, because for any industry it is fuel which is required immediately, even for running the factory and also for lubrication. So when the industrialists were looking for fuel and the scientists were engaged in inventing many fuels, to explore many more options, chemists first find out that uh, what all are the oils earlier available. Those are all from natural sources like plant and animal. So out of that, people observed that the ancient population of Indonesia and Japanese also are using sperm whales blubber, type of fat what usually get deposited in the skull, at the nose area, nose and skull area. That may be a good source for fuel. So naturally, starting of 18th century, there was a huge requirement of fuel. So 1820 25 onwards to 1830-35, this period was very fertile for the sperm whales. I want to mention, I came across a study which says that one sperm whale uh, made to big size that can produce 2000 liters of spermaceti, the oil which is obtained from the sperm whale's blubber, and that can produce 30 to 40, sometimes 45 barrels of spermaceti oils. In a year 45,000 barrels are produced, and that may be calculated nearly 8,000 sperm whales are being killed. So lakhs of sperm whales are being killed, and slowly the scientists announced that very soon this species will go for extinction. They are endangered already. So as because that source of oil was important, because pharmaceutical was used in street lamps, in many factories, even those are used in making candles, and also in lighthouses. In lighthouses, the lights are used to be very much, that it needs to be very much bright so that the ships can see it, and that continuously the flame should be continuous. And sperm oil fat, that is spermaceti, that was doing fantastic job for that. So replacement of that oil, scientists were searching. The coal oil at that time became started becoming very popular, as because there was ban or there was some regulation on the sperm um, oil, sperm city oil. So Now I want to mention the name of a very young scientist at that time. The name is Robert Augustus Chisbro. Robert Augustus Chisbro was a young scientist at that time. In the year I am saying that 1857. He was born in 1837. So at the age of 20 only, he decided that he not only he will be a chemist, he wants to be an industrialist also. At the age of 20, in 1857, he started an organization called Aladdin Oil Works. He bought that in Pennsylvania, and he from coal oil business he started, and he was producing kerosene out of that. Kerosene is a very good fuel for any machinery or any industry, but he was not much happy for that because he was not getting fun out of making and exporting kerosene or in that business. So very next year, 1958 to 1959, I should say, 1959, petroleum was invented. Petroleum, Cornell Edwin Drake could invent petroleum at the place that Pennsylvania. So our Chesbro rushed to that place. His intention was to know that what this petroleum can be used, how this petroleum can be used as a good fuel. He came to know that yes, it's a good fuel for machinery, but at the same time, he also observed that some byproducts are coming out. What all the machineries are used in that digging of the petroleum or for the refining of the petroleum, there are some wax like substance that is called rod wax. The workers who are present over there, they mentioned that this is not a good product because this substance rod wax does not have any value, and that can be used only once, that if somebody has got some burn or cut, and that can be applied for certain time for a better healing. Apart from that, these works is absolutely waste, and they are really not using that product. So Cheeseburg got some interest for that product, and he started investigating, he started research on that, and after filtration, after several round of filtration, extracted Vaseline, the petroleum jelly which we know today as Vaseline, and he deodorized that petroleum jelly, and along with that he purified that, not even with acids also, so that it should be very much helpful to the skin. And this pure product was very much helpful for curing any burn. So pharmacologically, if I say that it does not have, the petroleum jelly does not have any pharmacological value to heal a wound, but if this is applied on skin, on a wound, if it is burn or a cut, then the exposure for infection comes down, humidity is maintained, so body gets this opportunity to heal the wound naturally from within. So it was really a good product what Chelsberg observed. Now the name Vaseline, how he could derive that, I want to share with you. Actually, he combined two words. In German words, water is said as Wasser, and the Greek name of oil is Elion. So he combined both and made Vaseline. Vaseline. And Vaseline, first he thought that it's a combination of carbon and hydrogen. The scientists of that era also thought that the petroleum product is also the mixture or the chemistry of carbon and water only. But later they came to know that it's a fossil oil, that's all. So petroleum jelly is also from the same source, but it is very much safe and can be used without any pharmacological complaint, and it can be preserved for a pretty long time. So Chesbrough observed that, and he was determined that he thought that definitely I'll form a company and I'll start marketing for this. As he thought, and he went for the trademarking for Vaseline in Britain in 1887, and as because Britain Britain was his birthplace, and there was a fantastic market already in Europe for Britain. So Britain is always a sort for any good organization to market. So, and United States, again, it was registered in 1878. Apart from that, again, the marketing for this brand, he also sought for patent in New Zealand and Australia also. But he also tried for patenting in China and Japan, Latin America as well, but he could not. In Spain also, he could not, because they said that it is, the name Vaseline is too generic, because everybody thought that water and oil mixture, so it's coming Vaseline. So they refused to form the patent. Anyway, so the marketing started. When the marketing started, the first thing Chesbrough observed, Sir Chesbrough observed that there are two uses of that. One is household uses, and second is pharmaceutical uses. Pharmaceutical uses, because many moisturizer, many ointment, many creams are that they were being made from the animal or the plant oil sources. If that can be replaced by petroleum jelly, then it can be used and preserved for pretty long time without added any preservative. But pharmaceutical companies are not ready to accept that. They are very much satisfied with the um, conventional oil like plant oil or animal fat. Um, the such were got refused, and as because the pharmaceutical industries refused to accept that petroleum jelly, he was not getting any business. So he decided to go for sampling at the massive range. He started doing sampling for all the housewives who are going for market. He was doing for sampling also to the physicians who are general physicians in the communities, and the sampling was done in a massive scale to the 500,000. Just at that time, nobody can imagine of that kind of massive sampling. So that resulted, and after that time, every American house started having a Vaseline jar at their home, and as a result of that, 1873, Sir Chesbrough went for an agreement with Colgate for distribution throughout America and beyond. And this agreement with Colgate lasted really very long. And after that, once he got the success at the household, now few physicians started using that for their patients. When there is a small wound or burn, they requested patients to apply that even as a moisturizer, because Europe was a country where winter hits very hardly. So it was well appreciated. Every home, every household started using Vaseline. As a result, Lancet in 1880 they published an article regarding Vaseline. So now all the pharmaceutical companies are behind Sir Chesbrough. Why? Because they observed and they came to know by that time that what all the animal fat or the plant oil they are using as a vehicle for some medicaments, um, sometimes they used to cause some problem, because sometimes they used to go rancid, and there is an issue for a long time it cannot be preserved. But those issues can be solved if they use petroleum jelly. What Satyasbrug already said them but got refused. Now pharmaceutical companies are behind them. So that's a new era started. And now Satyasbrug started concentrating for not only only for one indication, that is called moisturizer use, as a moisturizer to be used Vaseline. Apart from that, he started thinking about the other brands also. Meantime, Satyasbrug got awarded with the American Institute Silver Medal in 1975, Grand Medal of Philadelphia, Silver Medal in Paris Exposition, Medal for Progress American Exposition in 1980, Silver Medal of Atlanta Exposition 1981, and highest award of International Medical Congress in London in 1981. So awards started following him, and it was really motivating factor for Sir Charles Brown. And already in 1974, the Charles Brown Manufacturing Company started manufacturing Vaseline, and distribution was done by Colgate. Now, when Sir Charles Brown started thinking about the many brands of that, first he thought about the capsicum Vaseline. Capsicum Vaseline was made by capsaicin was mixed with Vaseline, and that used to be rubbed on chest when somebody has got some cold, common flu or cold, and cleansing and healing value was also observed with that. Vaseline eucalyptus was used when there is a stuffed nose or the nostril got blocked. And one more product, that is called Vaseline Analgesic, that was also was very famous, and it was used for the rheumatic pain, and also for headache, and sometimes for the toothache also. And as time goes on, and there was export in Australia, New Zealand, throughout the globe, uh, it was in the highest peak of achievement, the Vaseline. So suddenly there was Second World War, and after that the company started facing some decline, declining sales, and the company started thinking that what next to be done, what next, because at during the World War, many people are thinking that now the cosmetics are not compulsion, because people's life was in trouble, everybody was scared about so many things. So cosmetics were not doing good. So at that time, the Vaseline developed its the sterile gauze was made with Vaseline, so that the army personnel who were in the airfield, on the battlefield, who are getting injured, they can apply that sterile gauze with Vaseline for a cure of that wound. So it was really again appreciated throughout the world, and again Vaseline sales was improved a lot. Along with that, also the patriotic vision, a patriotic feeling was also added along with that Vaseline during that time. So after that, I want to share with you that Vaseline started their journey with just after the launch of the Vaseline, the agreement was made with Colgate was continued till 1955, and 1955 onwards, on 1955 there was a agreement with Ponds, and after that Ponds taken the brand and started marketing. Meanwhile, in 1933, Sir Chesbrough, Sir Robert Augustus Chesbrough, passed away in 1933 in USA, and his successors started continued the business. So this is the story about Vaseline, which in winter every household will be using, and I am happy to share with you the story of Vaseline with you today. Please like this page, please visit this page, and every time you will be knowing one new story of a drug or cosmetic, how it was developed, and total history of that. Thank you, everybody.